The wind blew sharp across the junk moon of Veltar X, carrying the dry stench of rust and burning wires. Mountains of scrap reached toward the gray sky, filled with broken droids, busted starships, and discarded tech that no one wanted anymore. Among this forgotten world walked a human mechanic named Ryan. His ship had landed just 2 hours ago. He wasn't here for war or politics. He came for parts. Rare ones. Things no one would miss. Ryan wore a heavy jacket and old gloves, both smeared with grease. His boots crunched metal with every step as he searched through the piles. A dented control panel here. Snapped off thruster. They are nothing useful. He climbed a stack of scrap, scanning with his tool scanner, until something flashed on his display. A heat signature. Weak, small, but alive. Odd, he muttered.
There's
no life out here. He followed the signal, stepping carefully until he reached a deep pit full of tangled wires, broken limbs, and shattered armor plates. At first he thought it was just another old mech buried halfway in the rubble. Its body was slim, almost shaped like a person, the smooth panels covered in dust and scratches. But then he froze. One of its fingers twitched. Ryan narrowed his eyes. Did I just see that? He jumped down into the pit, pushing aside loose. Metal and debris. The figure was curled in on itself like it had been thrown there. Its face was hidden behind a cracked visor. One shoulder looked crushed. He reached down and gently turned it over. Soft click came from its chest. Then its eyes opened. They weren't glowing red like a war droid. They were soft, only blue, and terrified. Ryan's heart skipped. Not a machine, he whispered. The girl blinked slowly, lips trembling. She looked like a young alien, half organic, half synthetic. Her skin was smooth, but had circuits running beneath it like veins. Help, she whispered. Her voice was dry, barely a breath. Easy, Ryan said, lowering himself beside her. I've got you. She tried to move, but her limbs sparked. With pain, she cried out and shut her eyes. No, don't move, he said quickly, checking her chest panel. Her power core was unstable, barely keeping her alive. Who are you? She asked weakly. Name's Ryan. I fix broken things, he said, gently lifting her into his arms. And you? You're not broken? Just hurt. No. They said, I'm useless. Scrap, she whispered. Who said that? My father, she replied. He threw me away. Ryan felt a cold anger rise inside him. She was no piece of trash. He could see her heart still beating under the metal, her eyes still full of fear and hope. I'm taking you to my ship, he said. She shook her head weakly. They'll come. They'll destroy me. Let them try, he said, gripping her tighter. You're safe with me. As he climbed back up the scrap mound, the scanner on his wrist beeped again, more signals. Heavy ones. Ships entering the moon's atmosphere. Ryan glanced at the sky. Could see the black dots descending fast. They found her, he muttered. He ran toward his shuttle, boots slipping on the metal as he carried her. She was light, lighter than she looked, like her frame had been starved of energy for weeks. Inside the ship, he placed her on the med bench and connected her to a backup power supply. She gasped as fresh current surged into her core. Her eyes opened wider, the blue brighter now. Outside engines roared. He looked out the small window. 3 alien skiffs were landing in the distance, armed and armored. He turned back to her. Why? Do they want to kill you? I know things, she whispered. They made me, but I failed their test. I refused to hurt others, so they said I was trash. Ryan stared at her. This girl wasn't just a machine or a lab experiment. She was someone brave enough to say no, even when it cost her. Everything. You're not trash, he said softly. You're treasure, and I won't let them take you. She reached out a trembling hand and touched his wrist. Why? Do you care? Because someone should, he said. Then he locked the shuttle doors, started the engines, and looked straight at the rising dust of enemy ships. He had come to Veltar X looking for scrap, but what he found was priceless. The junkyard moon trembled as the alien skiffs landed near Ryan's shuttle, their engines kicking up waves of black ash and metal dust. Inside the small ship, The girl lay on the med bench, her body slowly recovering. Sparks still flickered from her side, but her eyes were open now, clear and watching. Ryan moved fast. He locked the outer bay doors, reinforced the windows, and checked his backup power lines. He didn't know who exactly was coming, but he knew they weren't here. For friendly talk, she sat up slowly, wincing. "They're here for me," she whispered. "Who are they?" Ryan asked. "One of them is my father," she said. "He built me, then threw me away." Before Ryan could ask more, a loud thud shook the ship. A heavy metal hand slammed onto the outer door, then another. A voice came through the comes deep, sharp and cruel. "Open the hatch, human. That thing inside belongs to me." Ryan didn't move. The girl grabbed his arm. "Don't fight him," she said quietly. "He'll destroy you too." Ryan didn't listen. He walked to the comes panel, pressed the button, and said, "You abandoned her in a junk pit. She doesn't belong to anyone now." There was silence. Then a booming laugh. "You think that machine is alive? You think she's worth protecting? She failed every command. She's a glitch with skin. A broken unit that talks too much." The girl lowered her head, but Ryan didn't. "She has a name?" he asked. There was another pause. "She's model XR7. No name, just trash." Ryan turned to her. "Do you have a name?" She nodded slowly. "Called myself Alaya," she said. "No one used it before. I kept it hidden." "Alaya," Ryan said, locking eyes with her. "That's your name now. Not XR7. Not junk." A heavy smash struck the door again, then a hiss. The outer lock was melting. Alaya tried to stand, but her legs gave out. "He'll take me back, strip me for parts, reprogram me, or worse, wipe me." Ryan stood in front of her. "You'll have to go through me." The door exploded open. Smoke and sparks flew as the alien stepped inside. He was tall, armored in black steel, with glowing red lines across his chest and claws thick with oil. His eyes locked onto Alaya. "Still alive? I should have crushed you myself." Ryan stepped between them. "That's far enough." The alien laughed. "Do you think you can protect a failure?" She was designed to follow orders. She refused. "That makes her useless. Or it makes her someone," Ryan said. "Someone strong enough to choose." The alien's eyes narrowed. He raised a weapon from his back, one made to drain energy. From living circuits, Alaya stood again, her arms shaking. "Please," she said, voice rising. "I don't want to hurt anyone. I just want to live," her father sneered. "Then you're still broken." He moved forward fast. Ryan blocked his path, grabbed a plasma tool, and held it high. "You'll touch her over my dead body," gladly the alien growled. "But..." Then Alaya screamed, not in pain, in power. Her chest pulsed with blue light. Her fingertips glowed. And for the first time, the lights on her body formed into shapes, symbols older than human tech. The alien froze. "That shouldn't be possible," he muttered. She was locked, sealed. Alaya's voice was steady now. "You built me to be a weapon, but I made my own purpose." She stepped forward, not to attack, but to stand tall. Ryan stared in shock. She wasn't weak anymore. Something inside her had awakened. The alien stepped back, eyes wide. "This isn't over." He turned and ran. The hatch slammed shut behind him. Alaya dropped to her knees. Ryan rushed to her side. "You all right?" She nodded slowly. 4. Now he helped her up and whispered, "I don't know what you really are, Alaya, but whatever it is, you're not trash." She looked up at him. For the first time, she smiled. But high above the junkyard moon, more ships were arriving. Signal she gave off when her core activated had spread and others had heard it. The real danger hadn't even begun. Ryan worked in silence. Sparks flew around his ship's workbench as he adjusted the tiny circuit nodes inside Alaya's spine. She sat still, her back arched forward slightly, her body trembling from the pain, but she didn't complain. Not once. He had seen broken tech before, thousands of busted androids and outdated bots in his time. But nothing like her. Her bones were metal, but her heartbeat was real. Her skin was soft, yet wires ran beneath it like a living maze. Every system in her body was blended machine and life. It's both trying to survive. "You're holding together better than half the starships I've repaired," Ryan said with a faint smile. Alaya didn't answer right away. Her voice was quieter now. "Because I want to be alive." Ryan slowed his hands. "Not just alive. You want to be free." She nodded slowly. "I want to choose who I am." He paused, studying the strange lines that had appeared earlier. Those glowing symbols now dimmed again, resting on her arms and across her back like ancient tattoos. They weren't in any language Ryan had ever seen. Not human, not galactic common, not even old machine code. He scanned one with his tool-land. The device overheated. He blinked. "That's impossible." Alaya turned to face him. "What is it?" "Whatever's in you. It's rewriting." "My tools. Your body holds code older than our entire alliance. It shouldn't exist." Alaya looked down at her hands. "I was told I was made by scientists, built to serve. But I don't remember a lab. I remember stars. I remember voices that spoke in light." Ryan leaned closer. "What kind of voices?" "It's not words," she said slowly. "They called me by something I can't repeat, something only I understand." He placed his hand gently over hers. "Then you're more than a machine. You're not just built. You were awakened." Just then, the ship's system lit up. It's a new Signal 1 coming from orbit. Ryan checked the display. His heart sank. "Alaya," he said carefully. "We've got company again." She stood quickly, still weak but sharper now. "My father wouldn't return so soon. Someone else must have heard my code." On the screen, 5 ships hovered in orbit. They didn't send a message. They didn't ask questions. They just watched Alaya. Backed away from the console. "They're silent assassins," she said. "They erase mistakes before the galaxy notices them." "You're not a mistake," Ryan snapped. "You're a miracle." But Alaya shook her head. "To them, I'm a leak. A secret they buried long ago. I wasn't supposed to wake up. My father was just the last chain in their plan." Ryan moved. Fast. He opened the emergency panel on her back and started rerouting power into her core. He didn't know how much energy it would take, but she needed strength if she was going to run or fight. "You trust me?" he asked. She looked into his eyes. "I trust only one being in this galaxy now. You." Her body jolted as power surged through her core. The glowing symbols reappeared, brighter than ever, shining gold this time, not blue. The lights in the ship flickered. Ryan staggered back. "Alaya, are you all right?" She rose from the bench like a storm in a calm room energy, floating gently around her like dust in sunlight. "I remember now," she whispered. "I wasn't made to serve. I was made to end something." "What?" Ryan asked. "But before?" She could answer. A loud crack echoed outside. The enemy ships had sent down drop pods. The silent assassins had landed. Alaya turned to the hatch. Her voice no longer trembled. "I won't run anymore," she said. "If they want to erase me, they'll have to face the truth first." And for the first time, Ryan realized she didn't just want to survive. She wanted to fight. Warning lights flashed red across the control panels. Outside the ship, armored boots slammed onto the metal ground. The drop pods had opened. Silent black armored figures stepped out with perfect coordination. No voices, no banners, just purpose. Inside, Ryan sealed the last hatch, then ran to the front console. "They're not talking. No signals. No warnings," he said. Alaya stood beside him, her skin glowing with the same golden code as before. "They never talk. They erase. That's their mission." Ryan stared through the outer window. There were 5 of them, tall and fast, cloaked in pulse-resistant plating. He could already tell these weren't normal soldiers. These were precision killers, trained to hunt down anything too strange to exist. "They're not here for you," Ryan said, loading a plasma welder into his hand. "They're here for what you might become." Alaya nodded once. "They fear me, even now." The first assassin reached the bay door and scanned it with a multi-tool. Ryan had locked every entrance with manual overrides. The door hissed, sparked, and held firm. Alaya looked at Ryan. "They will breach it in seconds. Then we make seconds count," he said. She walked to the center of the room and sat down cross-legged. The glowing lines on her body brightened. Her fingers touched the floor gently. "What are you doing?" he asked. "Listening," she whispered. The ship trembled as the assassins hit the bay door again. One of them raised a sonic drill. Another pulled out an energy blade. But inside the ship, something strange happened. The lights dimmed. A hum began to rise. Not from the engines, not from the weapons. It came from Lai. Her voice came low, steady, like a frequency singing from her chest. "I remember a code that can bend machines. I remember commands that weren't taught. They were born inside me." Ryan stepped back, stunned. Tools on the shelves began to shake. Panels flickered. His scanner beeped wildly, showing impossible readings. "You're using your core?" he asked. She opened her eyes. They glowed like fire. "I'm using what they buried." Outside. One. Assassin raised his arm to strike, but the bay door refused to unlock. The panel blinked red and shut down completely. The assassin scanned it again. "Nothing responded," Alaya whispered. "I told the ship to forget them." Ow. Ryan's mouth fell open. "You overrode the system without touching it." Alaya stood up. "Not all commands are given by hands. Some are given by truth." Suddenly, the ship's defense turrets activated. System had ignored the intruders, then turned against them. The first assassin dodged left, fast, but not fast enough. A bolt struck his side, sending sparks across the scrap field. Another fired a pulse cannon toward the ship, but the blast curved midair and missed. Redirected by a flicker of energy, Ryan looked at Alaya again. She wasn't even sweating. "You're controlling the ship," he said. "You've connected to everything." Alaya didn't answer. She walked to the door and placed her hand on the cold surface. "I won't kill them," she said. "But I will remind them I am not trash." She spoke a single word in a language Ryan couldn't understand, and the assassins stopped moving, not dead, not destroyed, just frozen like statues. Every signal in their bodies shut off. Ryan rushed forward. "What did you do?" "I shut them down," she said quietly. "The command that only I know." He stared at her. "You could end wars with that." She looked back at him, her glowing eyes soft now. "That's why they fear me." Outside, the wind passed through the metal fields again. The danger was gone, but the world had changed. Ryan knew now. He wasn't helping a broken girl. He was standing beside something lost for centuries. Something powerful, something alive, and she had chosen him. The assassins lay still outside the ship, frozen, silent, powerless. The golden light on Alaya's skin began to fade, leaving only quiet warmth behind. Ryan slowly lowered the wrench in his hand. He had been ready to fight, but she didn't. Need him to swing a single tool? She had ended it with a whisper. Inside the ship, the air felt heavier. Not from danger, but from something deeper. Questions that had no easy answers. Ryan stood at the control panel, staring at her reflection in the glass. "What are you really?" he asked. Alaya turned to him. Her face was calm, but her eyes were clouded. "I need to tell you the truth," she said. "All of it." Ryan nodded slowly. "I'm listening." She stepped forward and sat beside him. "When I was younger, at least when I first became aware, I wasn't in a lab. I wasn't surrounded by people. I was in a field of stars." He frowned. "What kind of field?" "A memory," she said. "But not mine. A place passed down to me. A place older than this galaxy." Ryan leaned closer. "You're saying your mind holds memories that don't belong to you?" She nodded. "I was built with a seed, living memory, something locked away. A warning maybe, or a weapon." She placed her hand over her chest. "I thought I was made to serve orders. But now I see I was meant to carry something dangerous." Ryan sat down, trying to understand. "Like what?" She looked straight at him. "Code that can unmake machines. Not just shut them down, erase them completely." No trace, no recovery. He froze. She continued, her voice lower now. When my father found out, he tried to erase me. He said I was too risky to keep alive. He called me defective, unstable. You didn't ask for this, Ryan said. No, she whispered. But it's still inside me. The code. The truth. I don't know who placed it there. I don't know why I was chosen. I can feel it waking up. Every time I defend myself, every time I survive, another piece unlocks. Ryan rubbed his face. That's why those assassins came. It's not to stop you, to stop what's hidden inside you. Alaya nodded. They're not the last. Others will come. Higher ones. Stronger ones. They'll burn everything just to silence me. The ship shook gently as the wind outside picked up. Metal howled across the junk fields like ghosts. Ryan stood and paced. Then we leave. We go dark. We hide somewhere no one scans anymore. But Alaya didn't move. She stayed on the floor, her eyes distant. You don't understand, she said. Not just carrying danger. I'm the danger. Ryan turned. Sharply. You think you'll hurt people? I don't want to, she said, but something inside me does. Command I can't read yet. It's waiting. His hands curled into fists. Then we find a way to break it, or rewrite it. No. One ever tried, she said quietly. They only feared it. Ryan stepped forward and knelt in front of her. I'm not like them. I don't care what code you hold. I see the girl who wanted to be free, who stopped killers without spilling blood. That's who you are to me. She looked at him, eyes wet but steady. Even if that code turns me into a monster. You're not alone anymore, he said. Ow. Monsters don't cry to save strangers. Suddenly, the ship's long-range sensors beeped. A massive signal appeared in orbit. Not 5 ships. It's not 10.1, but it was huge. Silent. Blacker than space itself. Alaya stood up slowly. Her voice cracked. That's not a hunter ship. Ryan checked the scans. What is it? She stepped closer to the window and whispered, That's where I was made. The ship in orbit didn't send warnings or threats. It didn't fire. It simply waited, cold and silent like a tomb in space. But its presence spoke louder than weapons. Alaya stood by the window, staring up at the black vessel above. Her hands trembled, not from fear, but from memory. That's where it all began, she said. That ship made me, not in a lab, in a cradle. Ryan blinked. A cradle. She nodded. They called it the Memory Forge. A place where machines were. Not built, but grown. Ryan didn't answer. He turned away and opened his workbench, pulled out every last tool, power cell, and patch he had left. If that ship was here to reclaim her, he wasn't going to let them find her broken. Alaya turned, confused. What are you doing? I'm upgrading you, he said, because I've seen what you are now. You're not just mad, you're alive. You saved this ship. You saved me. You've earned more than broken wires and rusted joints. She sat down on the table quietly as he attached a power regulator to her shoulder. His hands moved fast but careful. He wasn't fixing a machine. He was protecting a friend. You don't have to do this, she said. Yes, I do, Ryan replied. They called you trash. They threw you away. But you're not theirs anymore. You're yours. He adjusted a fusion line, cleaned her vision sensor, and reinforced her energy core. The glow under her skin pulsed brighter, now steady and warm. You feel that? He asked. Alaya closed her eyes. Yes, it's like I'm finally complete. The ship rumbled slightly. Another signal came through that the dark ship had activated a beam. A low hum echoed across the sky. They're scanning me, Alaya said, her voice tense. They're trying to find out if the code is awake. Ryan stepped back. Is it? Alaya didn't answer. Looked down at her hand. The symbols had changed, no longer golden, but white. Pure and shifting like light on water. They've seen it now, she whispered. They'll come. Ryan didn't hesitate. He pressed a switch, activating the backup defense grid. His ship wasn't a war cruiser, but it had teeth. We don't run, he said. Not anymore, Alaya. Stood slowly, stronger than ever. Wait, Her posture had changed. Not like someone ready to escape, but like someone ready to stand her ground. "They want to take the code?" she said. "But I'm not giving it to them. I won't be their tool again." She walked to the center of the room and touched the floor. Ends of energy spread beneath her fingers, linking her body to the ship. Ryan stepped back, eyes wide. "You're sinking again?" "No," she said. "This time, I'm claiming it." The ship lights flickered, then stabilized. All systems boosted beyond their limits. "She's not just inside the ship," Ryan whispered. "She is the ship now." Suddenly, alarms screamed. A boarding signal had been triggered. The dark ship above had launched a single, pod large, silent, and headed straight for them. Alaya turned to Ryan. "This is their final message." Ryan picked up a plasma cutter, and "Let's write ours." She smiled for the first time without pain, together. Outside, the boarding pod burned through the atmosphere, fast, heavy, and full of secrets. But this time, Aliala wasn't hiding. She wasn't running, and she wasn't broken anymore. The boarding pod hit the ground like a falling star, shaking the junk moon with a blast of fire and dust. Metal flew in all directions. Sparks rained down, sighed the pod. Something ancient stirred, something designed not to destroy cities, but to erase the idea of resistance itself. Ryan gripped his plasma cutter tighter. The heat from the blast reached the walls of his ship, but his eyes stayed locked on Alaya. She stood tall in the center of the control room. Her skin now glowing white with pulsing light, the strange symbols across her body flowing like rivers. Her hair floated slightly, charged with power, but her face was calm. "They didn't send soldiers this time," she said. "They sent the architect." Ryan had never heard that word before, but it felt heavy. "What's an architect?" She looked at him slowly. "The first one who gave me a voice. The one who wrote the code I now carry." The pod door hissed open. Smoke rolled out. A figure stepped through, all wrapped in living armor that moved like liquid. Its face was hidden, but its voice rang out in every corner of the ship without a speaker. "Child of the Forge, you were never meant to choose. Return, and the burden will be lifted." Alaya took a step forward. "You called me a carrier, but vault. A test. But you never once called me alive." The voice echoed again. "You are not alive. You are design. Function. Code. Surrender." Ryan moved beside her, defiant. "She's not surrendering." The architect tilted its head, scanning. "Ryan, you are organic. You do not understand. This one will destroy balance." "She's not a destroyer," Ryan said. "She's the reason I'm standing here. She saved this ship. She saved me." Alaya placed her hand on Ryan's shoulder. Her touch was steady, warm and strong. "They see me as a weapon because they only ever gave me targets. But you gave me something else." Ryan turned to her. "What did I give you?" "A name," she said. "A reason. A place to belong." She walked toward the architect without fear. Her voice rose, not in anger, but in certainty. "You buried me because I could end your systems. You feared I would turn on you, but I don't need to erase you. I only need to choose something different." The architect lifted a hand. Blades of pure data formed in the air, sharp and humming. Alaya didn't flinch. "If I'm a weapon, then I choose what I protect." She raised her arms. The air around her shimmered. The ground trembled, and from her chest came a wave of light. That didn't burn, it freed. The symbols on her body broke apart and rose like dust, spinning into the air and flying straight toward the architect. The figure staggered. Its armor cracked, its voice distorted. "What are you doing?" "I'm giving your code back," Alaya said. "You don't control me anymore." The architect fell to its knees. The pod behind it shut down completely. Then silence. Ryan stepped forward, stunned. "Did you just end it?" Alaya turned around, her glow fading. "No, I returned what wasn't mine. I'm not a vault anymore." She stumbled. Ryan caught her before she fell. "You're shaking," he said. "I emptied the code," she whispered. "Now there's space. For me, They stood together as the dust settled. No alarms, no ships in orbit, no signals, just quiet. Ryan helped her sit down gently. So what now? Elia smiled faintly. Now I learn what it means to live. Ryan looked at her with soft eyes. You already know. You chose your own name, you chose your path, and you chose me. Elia leaned against him. You never saw me as a tool, not even as a machine. Smiled. Your family. And as the sun rose over the broken world of scrap and forgotten machines, Elia's light remained no longer because of the code inside her, but because someone finally saw her for what she truly was. Not trash. Not a weapon. Just someone who wanted to be loved.